Hey, this is Matt once again. What about another review? This is another paid request, this time from Edward. And it's for 2 more episodes of South Park Season 2. This time on episodes 17 and 18. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, commentaries, re-reviews, reviews, topics, randomness, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, okay, let's get into episode 17 of South Park Season 2. We have the two separate stories going on. We have the kids who have to do this report on current events. They don't want to do it. They're with this kid named Tweak. And when they said Tweak, I thought, oh god, what kind of drug is he on? He's a tweaker. Is it hypodermic needles? No, it's coffee, a lot of coffee, because his parents are coffee makers. And meanwhile, Tweet's parents, they have a little business of coffee makers, and then this new business, pretty much a Starbucks. They can't call it Starbucks, but it's very close to calling it Starbucks. And so the parents are like, hey, why don't you talk about how our small businesses get taken over by big corporations? And meanwhile, the little kid, Tweet, is going, no, no, no. There's these underpants gnomes. They come out at night, and I think it's like 3:30 in the morning. They'll take your underpants, and because it's a South Park, that finds out to be true. But I will say the interesting thing that this episode did was take a shot at the other side. Usually TV shows, movies, whatever, take a shot at the big corporations, but this is actually taking a shot at the little corporations, which I find that kind of interesting and in a way kind of fair, because yes, for a lot of times the bigger corporations, they're just care about the bottom line, the bottom dollar. But there are times, just like with everything, nothing is 100% finite, nothing is 100% ultimatum, other than we all die. And there's taxes. But other than that, there's no such thing as a sure thing, or 100% guarantee, or 100% failure success rate. How the hell you want to put it? My point is, yes, there are small businesses that suck ass. And yeah, you want to support the small business. You want the smaller fry to not get fried, not have their ass fried on the sidewalk like a side dish. And well, fuck the evil corporations, but at the same time, there are times where the bigger corporations not big because they're actually doing fairly well. And there are times where you're like, you know what, yeah, you want to support the little guy, but maybe their product is shittier. Maybe their food doesn't taste as good. Maybe they don't know what the hell they're doing retail-wise. Maybe they suck, and fuck it, I don't go with the evil corporation because maybe they know better what they're doing, or maybe because their food tastes better, or because it's something else entirely. Let's say someone comes out with a wannabe mellow yellow, which this is my favorite drink. And someone comes out with kind of a takeoff on it. And someone tells me, you gotta support that, Matt. You gotta support that because it's a smaller business and they're about homegrown people. And yeah, some want the best product, but there are people in any business, big or small, that you could say are even greedier than the bigger corporations. And maybe their product sucks. And I'm like, well, no, this tastes like shit. I'd rather get this from the big corporation of Coca-Cola. I believe it's Coca-Cola. Yeah, it's Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola company. No, I actually want this. It tastes better and is more worth my dollar, so to speak. So, I mean, okay, I'm going a bit too deep for a South Park episode, but I just thought, I mean, it was interesting to see that different side of it, different take on it, which is unique. It's outside the norm. And then apparently the whole Underpants Gnomes thing became kind of part of pop culture only in the fact that later on, when the kids realize these things are real and they follow them, they're like, why did you take Underpants profit. Well, how does that happen? We don't know. So they have 3 steps. 1, take the underpants. 2, 3, profit. And apparently that's been used many times in the future. I think even Elon Musk and others have mentioned it, about how so many businesses, so many things, they have the beginning, we make money, but they don't really showcase how the fuck do you actually make the money. You have the idea, or you have the thought process, but what is the actual process? You have the idea of the process, but what is the middle ground? Think of a story. The beginning, you have the end. The middle is usually the biggest part and an important part. How do you get from A to B? We have A, we have B. Well, how the fuck did you get there? I don't know. So yeah, I guess you could say the episode was interesting. Like, actually interesting on a story level. I gotta give credit where credit's due. I haven't always been positive on South Park. I think there are times where it's like, we hate Barbara Streisand. So even though I didn't mind the Halloween episode a few episodes ago, it's, oh, we hate Barbara Streisand, so it's in spooky vision with 4 little Barbara Streisand heads on the corners. I'm like, I don't give a shit one way or another about Barbara Streisand. Why is this in here? Do I think it's funny? Nah, not really. It seems kind of like being a baby on Barbara Streisand. That's like me making videos. I have 4 little fat fuck Steven Seagal heads in the corners, and Seagal vision, which is scarier than Barbara Streisand vision. But hey, it is what it is. I do like Cartman getting mad at the gnome because the gnome keeps calling him a pussy, so Cartman keeps calling it a pussy. He called me a pussy. I'm not a pussy. He's a pussy. And at the end, lo and behold, the corporation coffee actually tastes good. And that's what I mean. It's kind of a interesting development of the plot. And like I said before, it's nice to see that change of pace. And then the gnome thing is just so weird and so off kilter that it's, I guess brings sort of that almost anything can happen type of thinking with South Park, which maybe that's one of the many things a lot of people watched South Park for. Which I do wonder how many people watch South Park nowadays. Because I know it's still on, but I'm just curious how many people watch South Park nowadays compared to back then in the days of season 2 and so forth. Because I didn't grow up with South Park. I saw the movie. I liked the movie. Edward has requested a lot of reviews so far in season 1, now season 2, and there's been episodes I've disliked. There's been some I've actually liked, so kind of a hit and miss show for me. Although, usually I've liked the Cartman character, just because of the way the voice is done, and it's really the tone of voice that makes me laugh, as easy as that is. So I didn't mind that. Episode 18 was kind of an interesting version of Encino Man, which is a film I like. First off, they do a nod to Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, which, on a tangent, it was really sad how he passed away. For those who don't know, Steve Irwin had a show. He would go out into the wild and deal with animals and crocodiles, and he even had his own movie. And one day, I believe it was a stingray, whipped up, and stingray and the tail had like a spike type thing, went right into Steve Irwin's heart. Dead. And I thought, I mean, it's a dangerous business. I hate to say it. It's like it was going to happen sooner or later, unless he had a bit more precautions. Like, I don't know, body armor, bulletproof vest, something. Well, that probably would make you sink in the water, to be fair. But I mean, just, you know, but he was a professional. Sadly, that happens. So, but there's a very much a Steve Irwin type wrestling a crocodile, and then he appears at the near the end of the third act of the episode. But it's fun to see the four kids acting like kids. So like whether in another episode they're playing war, here they're playing pretend, and because they saw Steve Irwin, Cartman's pretending to be Steve Irwin, pretending to talk like him. I'm gonna tip my friend in the beanbag and see what happens, by crikey. And the kids are being pissed at him. The way the story goes, Kyle falls in, finds this prehistoric man in the ice. They contact the authorities, and then Kyle and Stan fight on who found him. They both argue, they both start hating each other, they both want Cartman for their best friend. What are you doing, fat boy? Screw you, Happy. And there's certain moments of subtlety, which is not usually a thing on South Park, I enjoyed. Like when they find the Iceman. They find the guy in the ice, and Kyle and Stan are talking, and you hear Cartman talking about, hey, I saw this movie, try redoing the same thing the kids said, and they keep telling Cartman to shut up. And so when they go, we found something, hooray, you faintly hear Cartman go, hooray. For some reason that made me laugh. I don't know what it is. It was just simple, and it was just something about it where, I don't know if it's like Cartman, despite all of his asshole tendencies, like he wants to belong, or he wants to fit in, or I mean, just something a little subtle about that. Like, I didn't expect to hear that little soft hooray from the distance. Maybe it's the unexpected out of the blue that made it a bit funnier to me. I don't know what it is. Or maybe it is the Cartman voice. And then they did do a takeoff of, this is a beast, and this guy's been in the ice for years and decades. But no, he's only been in the ice for like 2 years, since 1996. Because I believe this episode debuted in 1998. I believe it was, because the movie South Park was 99. So this was like 98, give or take. So it's only been 2 years. But everybody's acting like this is someone that's from the prehistoric age. So they make a habitat of him, and they have like posters of re-let Bill Clinton and Independence Day, and they keep playing the song Ace of Base, I saw the sign, which I got a kick out of because that completely nostalgic. I remember hearing that song quite a bit back in the day. I saw the sign, and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. And, the guy gets out, finds his wife. The wife only looked for, like, an afternoon, and she only waited, like, 3 days until she remarried, and meanwhile, Kyle and Stan are arguing and calling each other dick and being pissed at each other. And they're able to get the guy home to Des Moines, because apparently Des Moines is where everything's 2 years behind. I'm like, really? Is it really? I don't know. I used to live in Iowa, and Des Moines was still pretty far away, but I wouldn't say it was behind. I don't know, but this was 98. Maybe it was, I don't know. But it was an interesting episode. To see Kyle and Stan arguing with each other made it a little bit different, a little bit unique. Trying to figure out I'm trying to remember how Kenny died in both. I think in episode 17, or was it 18? I think one of them was a conveyor belt. Yeah, because episode 17, it was in the gnome world, and they accidentally killed Kenny, and then the kids are like, oh my god, but they're more interested in the gnome's plans on why they steal underpants. because they're so used to Kenny dying. I think this one, it is, yeah, it's when watching the exhibit and there's a crowd and Kenny gets like sucked up by the conveyor belt. That's what I mean. It's kind of hard to talk about the episodes because like the animation doesn't change. It's still the paper mache, type of animation. Music wise, the music is decently consistent as a score, other than when they use a song like Ace of Base. Episode 18, they try to do like a wannabe Marilyn Manson music video, which makes the Neanderthal of 2 years ago go crazy and bust up the TVs. So I say Encino Man. Maybe it's not really a take on Encino. Just the movie that popped up at first. But you do have the Marlon Brando Island of Dr. Moreau wannabe in episode 18. He's the one looking at the guy that's out of the ice. And an interesting choice. Well, I guess it's not that wild because we saw him in the previous year, season 1. That was what, 97? And Island of Dr. Moreau was 96. So it was still fresh in people's minds. And it being a very weird, strange thing in that movie, which it is, because Marlon Brando was a weirdo, to be honest. Overall, I didn't mind the 2 episodes for what they were, mainly for the stories, the characters. Again, the Take on Corporation, episode 17, episode 18, treating this guy like a Neanderthal, even though he's only 2 years out of the system. Like I said, Cartman arguing with the gnome men were kind of funny in episode 17 here. Kyle and Stan actually get into a fight, trying to beat each other up. Well, it seemed like Kyle got more hits in. Episode 18 ends weirdly. A cow sits on Cartman and sits on Cartman's face. Thought that was kind of weird and random. Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. It's, unless the episode is total trash, it's kind of hard to complain about stuff that's only 20-some minutes long. I didn't know this is absolute trash. So, oh yeah, didn't mind it. Didn't mind them for what they were. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.